what do you guys like? Are you guys disappointed with the characters for 2XKO or no? Or you guys think they're like fine assets?
Like what's currently available?
Yeah,
to
like
us?
so. For instance, right now we have like okay, how did we feel like? This is gonna be like my starting point. How did we feel about like Caitlyn being like the launch character? Because a lot of people say that like that, saying that Caitlyn ruined like the the launch that Caitlyn being into the game is like a bad idea and stuff like that. Some people are saying that like having that mentality is like very stupid.
I don't think any one single character would have ruined the launch. Personally, I do think it was like not great PR. The fact that we have, including Caitlyn, 6 Piltover / Zon champions in the starting roster of 12. And at that time it was what, 5 out of 11, and people were expecting something different. But not only do we get another Piltover Zon character, but it's another Arcane character, which kind of adds to it. It's kind of crazy when we don't have any representation from Demacia, Mount Targon, Ixtal, or even Shadow Isles.
Michael, you forgot to. I'm surprised you didn't say Shurima because I know
And
you really want
Shurima,
some Shurima.
sorry, that another region. And it's just like we have what, 3 or 4 regions represented with Piltover Zon, Noxus. There's one Freljord person, Ionia, and Bilgewater. We have Alawi for Bilgewater, but that's still like half of the like the overall regions of the world that are not covered. Instead, we have half of the roster from Piltover Zon, and as much as I love Arcane, we know most of it probably, like, those decisions were probably because of Arcane.
Okay. No, see, this is the crazy part too, because I know again, listen, I'm getting all my information from like Twitter. I know, not the best place, but it is kind of like to gauge like audience and opinions and stuff. Because I'm not going to Reddit. I know it's gonna be a shitstorm. But like even people were saying that like the first like photo that ever came, or the clip that came out like of the first version of 2XKO, they said that like we're like they're fighting in Shurima and we don't have like nothing with Shurima, no like cool Shurima stages or anything of the sort, except we're just focusing on like Arcane stuff, which I also feel is like that I think it's a detriment to the game, because like I said, no Arcane people that watched Arcane are not gonna come and play a league fighting game, especially like a tag fighter. But
I don't know. I feel like there's probably a good amount of people who are fighting game players.
Okay, but because this is my second point.
Don't really care about League, but they watched Arcane.
Right.
Like I think they should have had like maybe 3 characters from Arcane, like Jinx, Vi, maybe Echo or Warwick, one of those. But like, I don't know, 5 characters is kind of much personally.
All right, so now this just came today. So they officially confirmed that both Akali and Senna are gonna be the next characters. What do we think about that?
Was that confirmed?
Yeah, it's 100% confirmed. They just released it, and there's like they're like in development right now.
I mean,
I think Akali makes complete sense. That's
yeah,
one
I was gonna
that,
say I'm cool with Akali.
But Senna.
Senna, I'm cool with Senna. I think she shouldn't be so immediate, personally.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Like I think she would have been like I think she's fine to be in the roster, but I feel like we need more
See,
variety. I'm a little scared she's gonna play too similar to somebody like
okay.
Caitlyn.
See that.
Yeah, that or Jinx, one of the two.
Well, I
Yeah.
just don't understand why are they so focused on adding a lot of ADCs when there's like so many, I would say, better characters. Like I'm surprised they still haven't fucking added Samira. I feel like that's the one that you should like add, because that one is like perfect for
she's. If you wanted to add ADC, yeah, she's like a slam dunk for an ADC.
For a fighting game. That's easy. I don't, like I said, I think Senna is those. Okay, this is my fucking theory, but
Senna's gonna be like our first Shadow Isles character.
No,
right?
no, that doesn't count. Because no, they're Demacians, basically, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like 2XKO just has to add like. I feel like they were kind of too much on the let's add characters that like kind of highlight our franchise, which is fine. Like, you know, we all have to pay our dues on whatever like franchise you're making a game after. But I feel like in a game that is kind of has its own unique format, like something like a fighter, there's like a profound lack of like fighters, if that makes sense. Like every single time I look over at 2XKO for whatever reason, it's like, oh, they added Teemo and then they added like Caitlyn, and it's like, okay, but like, when are we getting somebody who actually wants to get in there? Like, is Set in the game?
No, he is not.
How is Set not in the game?
Yeah,
like, he's Set. Like,
I
that's
don't
what
know.
I'm saying.
I kind of disagree. I want to push back on that personally.
Huh? All right.
I think
I'm not saying that they. Let me
to-
just say that they don't have to like. I'm not saying that they have to only do fighters. I'm just saying that like, if you're going to make a fighting game, yes, there is like design space that you can explore with like unique characters such as Senna or something like that. Like, just because she's ranged in League doesn't mean that she has to be ranged in a fighting game. But there are some characters that seem pretty obvious for a game that is built around like the fighting genre, and I feel like they should probably appeal to that a little bit more, because again, like every single time I look over, it's just like, oh, a new range champion, and it's like, I know that that doesn't necessarily translate to a ranged champion in a fighter game if they are in League of Legends, but like at the same time, they're kind of known for that, you know. Like at this point, even though I really like Malzahar, if they announced Malzahar, I'd be like, why not have Set in? You know, I'd like to see them lean into the fighter aspect of the fighting game more, which is why something like Akali seems cool to me, because she's kind of like a tricky a character that you can flesh around like tricky mechanics and stuff. But like Senna, they're going to lean on her identity as it was before to some regard, and I don't really think that that's going to benefit what 2XKO could necessarily use right now.
Okay.
I do think Set it would be personally. I don't think he's one you want to release kind of early too.
Right, but
I think he has a lot of similarities with somebody like Darius or Blitzcrank or Alawi. Alawi's kind of different because she has her tentacles, but like in the more like bulkier fighters, the only difference being with him that I think he'd be more of a grappler than Blitzcrank is. I think he'd be the grappliest one out of everybody. But
my brother's trying to say more of like, you know, why don't we have characters like Lee Sin, like Fiora, Jin Zhao, like characters
I
that
think
are like
I'm
surprised. I'm surprised we still don't have fucking Jax. That Jax should have been like there, like day one.
I think the fantasy of those characters are all very similar, though. I don't think Senna is the answer, but I do think my thing is that we already have characters that kind of hit on that type of fantasy that somebody like Jax, Lee Sin, or Set would bring right now. What we're more missing is more support type characters, some more mage tricky type characters, like which we're getting with Akali. We also don't have any like real. I mean, I guess Echo's an assassin.
Mike's
besides Echo and Akali's coming up.
Mike's still waiting for Zed to show up in the game.
Zed or Silas would be great, honestly. But yeah.
Because my crazier part is also they haven't added like Katarina, and I'm like, dude, like Katarina should have been like also, I think like a day one also there.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, so let's say we do add in Set, Lee Sin, Jax, Katarina, who. Like, I feel like that's a lot of redundancy. Katarina, not really. But I feel like Jax, Set, Lee Sin, and Jax, Set, and Lee Sin, like, all hit very familiar archetypes. I guess Jax not so much because he's more of like a weapons focused person.
Okay.
But then even then he could be kind of similar to Yasuo or Darius in that aspect. And then
yeah, but I don't know. I just don't feel like the answer is just like another kind of like an ADC or support right now. Like I want to see like fighters, you know what I mean? Like just because a character like Darius or Illaoi exists doesn't mean that like they can't make, I don't know, Jax play differently, even though he is like a similar bruiser type. I feel like even somebody like Lee Sin, like I would much rather see somebody like Lee Sin in a fighting game because it's Lee Sin. You know what I mean? Like that kind of makes sense.
But we got to think about this of like not only just the character archetypes, but also fighting game archetypes. Like we don't really have like a puppet,
I understand that.
a puppet or a stance fighter, to my knowledge, right? I guess Vi is kind of stance like, where you can kind of weave in and out. I wouldn't even say she's stance focused. I don't think she really has a stance. But we don't have any stance fighters. We don't really have any puppets. Blitzcrank is kind of grappler-esque, but not
he's
truly
like a true
grappler.
yeah.
We have 2 zoners in Teemo and Caitlyn now. Is that how she
No.
plays, like a zoner?
They say she doesn't, but like realistically, everything I've seen of her is, and I played her, is like, yes, I just shoot. She has like a back roll that lets her shoot. She has a bola, net, all this stuff, and she even has a fucking like special level 2 that like makes a giant shield that just walks like to the enemy. So it's like a whole thing where it's just like a wall walking like to you.
Yeah, and then it's like we have a couple rushdown characters in Yasuo, Echo, right?
Well, we have a lot of, like I said, I just think zoners are the ones I think they gotta chill with, because you have like Jinx, you have what is it? You have Jinx, Teemo, Caitlyn. One of them is escaping me.
Is it Ari?
Dude, the problem is Ari just does whatever. you can even put Echo in there, because like Echo and Yasuo, Echo and Ari just kind of do whatever the fuck they want, and it's like, okay, how do I play this? Like, how do I play against this? That's what I have like heard and seen personally. But
that's kind of what I'm leaning and what I'm saying with, I want them to add like a fighter, because I feel like, again, like every single time I catch news of 2XKO, like I'm not super invested in it, but every single time I look over, it's like, oh, new zoner, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man, when are they gonna add somebody that gets in your face and actually plays a fighting game? Like,
I mean, Vi, Alawi, Yasuo, Darius, Warwick.
but
those are all
Alawi,
characters that came in closer to release. What I'm saying is that recently it's just been a lot of zoners. Like Darius and Alawi were there from the get-go.
Caitlyn, Senna, and Jinx, and I guess Teemo, 4. That's still less fighters than what's in the roster.
Yeah, but that's a lot of zoners for a game that doesn't have that many fighters, though.
Like I said, I don't think Senna's the answer. I don't think they should have added another zoner. I don't think adding another fighter really... Like, we already have a good amount of fighters, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so
Like,
I have a question.
We need stance characters or puppet characters, or maybe just more heavy grapplers, stuff like that.
But those are all... Well, that's what I mean by fighters. Like, somebody who isn't trying to just stay back the entire time. I don't want you to conflate fighters for somebody like... You know, when I say fighter, I could say something like Frank West from UMVC 3, even though he's not like the same as somebody like, I don't know, Wolverine. You know what I mean? But he's somebody who's like, he has a gimmick to him. He has a certain play pattern, but he's still fighting. He's not zoning you. He's not Arthur. When I say fighter, I don't mean like, you know, a champion like Darius. I mean literally anybody that isn't just relying on ranged attacks.
You're not talking like Morgan, like, you know, just
exactly.
Spam fuck.
Yeah, like just because I say Jax doesn't mean that Jax has to be a rushdown character. I think that Jax could be created into any of those archetypes. I just don't want to see again another zoner, because
the only people who really rely on ranged attacks in the game though are kind of like Teemo, Ari, Caitlyn,
Jinx,
right, and Jinx.
Right.
Yeah,
so what's the
like
roster?
Everybody
right
else
now?
is in your face and has to fight.
Out of those 4, how much of the roster is fighters?
I think everybody else has
but
to
how
be
many
in
is
your
that?
face. 8 out of 12.
Yeah, but
That's
you
75%
see what I'm saying?
of the
Like
roster.
yeah, but that's already not a big roster for a fighting game, and for that many to be zoners, I don't think is a good idea.
All right, so
I think my issue is more the size of the roster.
Well,
and-
see, I have a question. Well, besides, like, the roster has been like a fucking like debate for like years. Even now, like, you know, with the game being plus like what 7-8 years of development, we still only have fucking 12 characters. I think it's kind of like that's been always a major complaint of the game, and it still is. My thing is, okay, I know we had our like dream characters, but the roster, is it like interesting you guys at all, or not? Like, what is like, is the roster like, as we play League, so is the roster like inviting you to like try 2XKO, or you guys just have no like interest in it whatsoever because of the characters.
No, like the thing is, like for me, what I'm trying to convey with the whole like fighter thing is that like when I think of like a game like Soul Calibur or Tekken, like majority of the roster is like appealing to a fighter game, right? Even UMVC3, like there are characters that are kind of keep away, but a lot of them are going to be like fighting you, right? Like that's the point of a fighter, is to get up to somebody and do combos and shit. What I'm saying is that like there's already a profound lack of characters, and then like when you think about what those character archetypes are, a lot of them aren't playing like a conventional fighter, so to speak, and that's fine. You can include that in a game. We've seen it with UMVC3 with people like Arthur or Morrigan, but like at the end of the day, you have to flesh out the fighters to be, you know, playing a fighting game, which is why like somebody like Ari kind of works, because she's kind of a mix of both. Like she can be ranged, but she can also get in your face. But if they just keep on adding these uninteresting characters that don't really play conventional fighting games, then like the roster is going to develop to something that feels empty and is also kind of uninteresting. Like you can't say that for a character like a game like Tekken, say, who has like a bunch of characters, but all the characters are still at the end of the day playing a fighter. You know, whether their archetype is X or Y.
Tekken doesn't have conventional. I wouldn't say Tekken has conventional fighting game archetypes, personally.
Well, see, my problem with the roster is just like, okay, I know I have my favorites. I know I got like Zack, but the thing is, for me, is like as a person that's trying to like bring non-League of Legends players, or you know, we have to kind of show them like cool, awesome champions, and I think that the ones that we've been kind of like getting at the moment are not like doing that. If like for instance, I know. One example for mine is like Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct, I had no idea what... I know of like, you know, Combo Breaker and Ultra Combo and all that stuff, but I didn't know anything of the characters. But then when, you know, you see the roster of Killer Instinct, it's like, yo, what the fuck is this roster? It has like so much cool shit. And that's always has been a thing with me as a fighting game. Like, you know, bring me cool looking characters and I might want to try them. And people that don't know what the fuck League of Legends is, because a lot of the people that play fighting games don't know League of Legends. They have to actually go look at the roster, and they're like, wait, that's a fucking bear that, you know, is a god? That's kind of cool. Oh, you have this guy with a giant ass fucking sword. That's cool. Oh, it's a fucking like a diving suit with a giant anchor. That's like cool, like add into the game. But every single time I look at 2XKO, it's always like, okay, we're adding Caitlyn, awesome. We're adding you know, Senna. Oh, I mean, like, I guess Akali, like, all right, cool. But it's a thing where it's a thing.
I don't know, really? Man.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. So a lot of the popular characters. I mean, we'll take something like Tekken, for example. Here, let me look up the Tekken 8 roster.
Well, okay, I don't know, but
like a lot of them aren't like you mentioned a lot of big bulky dudes, but a lot of the popular characters like Alyssa or
why am I blanking
okay, if you don't the French chick.
Okay, wait, if you don't want me to get those, then I guess I could go with more. I can go with like, you know, you could add like Fiddlesticks. You can add Evelyn. You can add I'm trying to come up with things right now, but they're all escaping me. Maybe Annie? I don't know if people want to play Annie. But it'd be cool having, like, you know, a 10-year-old fucking throwing a giant-ass bear at you.
Yeah, but the thing is, you need a mix of not only... This is the thing that makes, like... You need a variety in rosters of character type, right? Of, like, the vibe / fantasy they're going for, how they play, and, yeah, I mean, I guess vibe fantasies. I was gonna reiterate something like that. But you need characters that are, you know, edgelords for the edgy people, big bulky dudes for people who like, you know, big bulky dudes or women. You need your like small cute characters, whether it's something like Teemo or somebody that could be like Caitlyn's not really cute. But Ari, I guess, would be on that end. Because right. Caitlyn's more like, you know, like a kind of more straightforward, straight face, like cop, you know, so she doesn't really give off that vibe. So she's more of like, you know, like a badass chick and stuff. I do think they probably needed a little bit more weird characters. that, I mean, we have Braum and Blitzcrank, which are supposed to be like the oddballs, I would say.
Right, but I think those they are more they're like normal compared to
I'm just
like-
saying, I feel like a lot of the characters you guys are suggesting are more on the end of like the same type of fantasy / vibe of like the character themselves, not how they fight, but who they are. Like if
Well, yeah, but that
like it's like if
guess, like,
Tekken was
for-
gonna add Clive, Heihachi, and Fakuram and Armored King, like they all fit like the same type of like vibe / fantasy that in a fighting game. Besides like how they play, just who they are, how they're designed, how they look, the type of atmosphere and vibe they like go off of. They're all similar in that aspect. I'm not saying they're the same. I think they're similar. But that's why you have other characters, somebody like Eddie or Lydia or Miyari that just came out, and Anna that kind of like balance that out.
My thing is because this is like League of Legends, because like Tekken is like I really could care less, because it's like for me it's kind of just seeing like the characters like playstyle and moves. Like if I see a guy fucking drop kicking somebody, like I'm definitely gonna be like, all right, I kind of want to play him. While to it, like League of Legends is a thing where it's like, dude, like someone like Nocturne, someone like Fiddlestick, someone like Nautilus or Fizz, these characters could be like very interesting, appeal, like, you know, like visually and characteristic wise, and like the gameplay then I think would be the last thing, I think. Or, like, not
I
the
think
last
that's
thing,
more
but
in your
it'd be,
eyes,
like-
because I think you underestimate a lot of people who pick up a fighting game, and what they were going for, at least with this game, is to grab a lot more of the casual audience. At least that's what they tried, right? That's what they were trying to do. And a lot of the casual audience, when they pick up a fighting game, they just find a character that looks that appeals to them, and they play it. And if you have a bunch of like Zax, Nautiluses, Fiddlesticks, Fizz is different. But like if you have, yeah, because he has a very different like fantasy and different vibe than the other ones. Like they all fit like similar fantasies and design spaces that don't really attract to a variety of people, in my opinion. They want to have like a diverse roster that appeals to, you know, some we can say like a 10-year-old kid, or somebody that's like a 36-year-old dude, or like, you know, an e-girl, stuff like that. They want a variety, or the people who like weird characters, like one of our friends, Skylar, always likes picking really weird characters because he finds them appealing.
Right.
So,
you,
I don't know.
want
I
that
kind of
variety, and
I find an issue in that, because I feel like every single time when I look at 2XKO, it just feels like it's going through the Smash thing of like another sword character. Like that's kind of how I want them to make something weird.
The difference between Smash and this game, I think, is that Smash has a lot of other characters that it's like they started getting to the point where it was like it didn't hurt it too much, in my opinion, because they had 50 to 60 other characters already. The real issue with this game is that there's only 12 characters.
Yeah, no, I agree with
issue.
you. What I'm saying is that,
we
like, I
can
feel like
have
every
Set
single
and
time
Zack.
there is a new character, that's the case. Like, again, Caitlyn was the last added. Nobody was impressed, and now they're going with Senna. Like, the only reason I recommended somebody like Lee Sin or Xin Zhao is because that kind of like is the normie audience type of thing. Like, if it was up to me, I would want them to add more weird characters that fit different archetypes. But I also know what League of Legends is going for based on their history with the last champions that they've added. They're just going for, oh, let's add Vi because of Arcane, let's add Caitlyn because of Arcane, let's add this character because it kind of fits the mold. And it's like, bro, where is, I don't know, the Mordekaisers or the Shakos? Where are the weird ones? But they're just appealing to like the more popular characters that are just kind of normal everyday stand-ins. Like,
because Mike, tell me this. Okay, sorry to cut you off, brother. Tell me this. Would you think, as a casual person, if you saw Thresh in the roster, you would not? You're telling me that a casual would not be like, hey, he looks kind of sick, let me try him out.
Yeah, but I can also
let me play Senna.
Equally seeing somebody like wanting to pick up Senna or somebody like Lulu, for example, because
exactly. But they wouldn't want to pick like Caitlyn or like, you know.
I do think some people would want to pick Caitlyn. My issue is so. I guess just to bring my points is the roster size is way too small, and whenever they announce a new character, I feel like most of the time gonna have like issues. I do think Caitlyn and Senna were not good picks. I think Samira, if you wanted another ADC, what like you said was a slam dunk for an interesting, cool ADC that would very much fit the vibe and offer something completely unique and different with her like upgrade, like her her what's the system she has? Her grading scale.
Yeah.
But like I think we need somebody also like that also fits a different type of fantasy and also fits a different type of play style. I think Samira fits both of those in that she has a different play style and she has a different fantasy. Same thing with Akali. But I don't think personally, I mean, maybe we could have had somebody like Lee Sin or Jax come in, but we don't have too much crazy variety in the roster as is in terms of like archetypes. Like I said, we don't have a stance character. We don't have a puppet character. We don't even have a Shoto, really. So it's
that
like,
would be Set.
Set would not be our Shoto. I'll tell you
I
right
know,
now.
I know,
It'd be.
okay.
I think Lee Sin would probably be more of the Shoto. So,
Like I said, I just think Senna would have been cool if you had a like Lucian Senna combo. I think that would have been one where like you have Lucian like being the main fighter and Senna doing like extra like attacks and stuff like that. Or
Why
he
not
could
the
have been,
opposite?
or she could have been. Huh?
why not the opposite? Why can't Lucian be the background?
Because I feel like Lucian rightfully was there from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel weird to like have like Lucian in the background when he kind of came first. That's my kind of like.
I think so,
I
but
guess-
Senna's more important to the lore. I think.
Not what really? You think so?
Yeah, she's the one who ties in like Viego and with like the Sentinels of Light and everything, and she kind of like becomes the de facto leader.
Let's Omni be the case, brother. What would you prefer if it was like if there was like a Lucian Senna tag like they're both in one character? Would you prefer Lucian being the main one with Senna assisting or backwards?
Can't they just be their own characters?
I mean, yeah.
I think. Yeah, but I don't know.
I'm just saying.
feel like
I
it'd
think
be-
if they were gonna do something like that, I think Senna would be the forward-facing one. I guess she's the support. So if you wanted to go more traditional in terms of like how they play in League, then yeah. But I think in the story, Senna, like at least from what I've read and everything, Senna seems to be like Lucian kind of defers to Senna for a lot of decisions and stuff. Like he's more of like the supportive guy in terms of like personalization.
Got a question. Do you guys agree that if Senna's gonna be in the game, there's a certain chance that we might see a certain Shadow Isles character in there?
I would love to have Thresh.
I hope so, but I hope that they don't go the direction of like Viego. I don't know. Viego's probably a good fit, but I would just be like, come on, man. Like out of all the Shadow Isle characters,
You just want your chonkers. Come on, guys. Just admit
it's
it.
not
You
even
want your
it's not even the
chonkers.
chonkers, man. Like it's just like I want them to do something different that isn't just humanoid guy with weapon. Like I get that that's a lot of.
So I got a question. I got a question for you
That's
because
been
you're
my
the only
complaint.
one I think out of us three that haven't really played the game too much.
Mhm.
He hasn't played at all.
Yeah, yeah. What character would they announce that would get you interested?
Rengar.
Like, what would make you want to play the game?
Rengar.
Okay,
So,
100%
brother, I got a
would be
question.
Rengar. I want something that, like, when I look at it,
Rengar would.
I
be
go,
cool.
that looks fucking sick. Like,
I do
it,
think
I mean,
Rengar would be cool.
it's not that hard, man. Like, this is why I compare it to Smash. Like, yes, you can go and say that Smash has plenty of rosters that you can find somebody else. That doesn't mean that every single time you look at this game developing and you're like, wow, it's another Fire Emblem character. Like that, there's a reason people got fatigued because of that, despite the fact that it
Right.
already has a roster of like plus 50 characters that are all wacky and zany. You know what I mean? Like, League has so many cool characters, whether they are chonkers or not. Like, I would much rather them have something like, I know that I'm a fucking simp for this character, but a character like Kindred is infinitely more interesting than a character like Caitlyn. You know what I mean?
I thought
it's
you were
not-
gonna. I thought you were gonna go Nefiri.
No,
I was waiting
hell,
for
a
that
character
one.
like Nefiri would be cool. They've already shown that a
Nefiri would be
character
cool.
like Amaterasu can exist in UMVC 3. Like, it's just that, like, out of all the mystical shit that Riot has to offer, they're going with like the most bland fucking shit in the world. Like, I don't even care if they add.
There you go.
I don't even
Preach
care
it.
if they added somebody like Tarek. At least Tarek is kind of cool because he's kind of different. But like,
Also,
you know, because you never get to see Tarek in like that kind of spotlight, right? But like when you see Viego in a fighting game, you can kind of guess what he's gonna do. You know what I mean? And I'll just be like, oh, cool, they added Viego, and move on. But like with Rengar, they can do so many different things with him. I mean, like part of the reason that people like Rengar's animations in League of Legends is because he doesn't just slash shit. Like half of his animations are him like punching things and like kneeing them in the face, like. And then you see it realized in something like A New Dawn when that trailer first came off, and I remember everyone collectively thinking, "Damn, if Rengar was in a fighting game, that'd be fucking cool as shit." And then here we are getting like a fucking another person with a gun, and it's like, come on, man. Like this is so uninteresting. Like you know what somebody like Akali's gonna do. You know what somebody like if Master Yi was added into the game. Oh, cool, he does an up slash into a down slash. You know it, dude. You know it. But like when you see a character fleshed out in a different way because they have a certain kit that can be translated uniquely from a MOBA to a fighter, that would be cool to see. Like it doesn't have to be, you know, like a fucking arcane character. Get a fucking Heimerdinger. I don't care if they add Heimerdinger. He'd be interesting as like a puppet kind of like a minion, however you call those like character archetypes. It doesn't matter that it's like too much arcane representation. It's just that it's too much boring people, and that's all it is.
My biggest thing has always been the roster, and that's a perfect explanation of it. Because everyone's always saying that, like, you know, League of Legends players would never want to touch a fighting game, and I think that's total BS. Because I know us three, we would love to play a League of Legends fighting game because we love the lore, the characters, and everything about it. But just 2xKO is not doing it, like, I think for any of us, because none of us has touched the game at all, like, you know, for a while, right? Like Mike, when was the last time you touched like 2xKO when you were trying to learn how to play Fight, right?
Probably like, what is it? Yeah, like a month ago, something like that.
And you have like zero interest to like play it right now, right?
I wouldn't say zero interest, but I mean, I'd rather go play Tekken.
Okay, well,
you know,
right?
Yeah. Like if I want to play a fighting game, I'd just go back to my love, Lydia.
Right. And brother, you say you're gonna get into Tekken. Would you rather like play 2xKO right now, or you just rather go learn like Tekken, even though you haven't touched Tekken?
I'd rather go play Tekken personally. Like, even though Tekken does like, I think it kind of does suffer from the, oh, this is just another guy that knows martial arts. Like, there is a level of uniqueness to each character the more you get to play them. I think like Tekken is more mechanically unique, whereas other fighting games can be more, I guess, visually unique in the sense of like, I don't know, something like Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue. But like, I look at a character and I'm just like, yeah, I'd much rather play that character, because in Tekken I know that. Like, I already know that about Tekken. If I play Dragunov versus I play King, I know that, you know, one has a much slower, grindier playstyle than the other. But at the same time, there's a reason why King is popular. He's a fucking ripped Mexican guy with a tiger mask. Like, that is visually appealing. That's why people like seeing him.
Yeah, but the same way, I mean, Asuka's also visually appealing, and she's just a cute schoolgirl.
Yeah, I know, I get that. What I'm saying is that, like, when I look at League, I just see, like, you know, samurai.
I think
2xKO. I see guy with sword, samurai with sword, big guy with big axe, a guy with big shield. I think Blitzcrank is like the only one that if I didn't know anything about League and saw 2xKO, I'd be like, hey, he looks pretty sick.
I do think they needed to have at least like 20 fighters, and I think that would have like fixed a lot of these issues, because I think there's a lot of pressure on, since the roster's so small, on who they're releasing, and there's gonna be a lot more scrutiny, because it's like
who they choose.
Exactly, because it's like I feel like we're already so we're left in like a stranglehold of, like, you know, we don't have that many fighters in a tag fighter. Having 12 characters, and then when you first boot up the game, you have 4 characters that you can play. Like, I think they give you a champion token, right? They give you one champion token, yeah, and the rest are locked. And it's like,
all right, so
come on, guys. So I think the roster size is a big issue, because if you increased it to 20 when it first came out, you could have, like, I don't think anybody would complain if Caitlyn or Senna were both in the game, if you also had 6 to 7 other characters also in the game that were like also filled out those fantasies like you guys were talking about, like Thresh, Fiddles, Fizz, or whatever, right? And I don't,
I'm
I
just saying
don't
they-
think it
I'm-
would
I'm
be
ju-
that big of
I-
an issue if we had more characters in general.
My main point is just like, again, for the casual people, and if you want to grab audience, just add really cool looking characters that play really fucking cool, and you might grab people back. Because like I said, League of Legends players that wanna see this game succeed and everything will give it a try if their favorite champion has been added. And I know we have a pool of them, but like I said, for me so far right now, like, maybe for just doing YouTube videos, I really have like no interest. I'd rather go play Invincible Versus, which I have not watched any like little of the show. Yeah, I know Michael's gonna fucking fume me about that one. Or play Marvel Tokon when that comes out. But as of right now, like, I have like 2% to like play 2XK. Like, I got no like desire to play it.